Everybody, what's going on? This is Martin John. I am here with Tao of the Day. So, start lining up. This is when we talk about the Tao. What is the Tao, you ask? Well, if you haven't been here before, the Tao Te Ching is an ancient text, and I ask you to step up and pick a number between 1 and 81. We will read that verse of the Tao. These are very short, relatively, and then we'll go through it line by line. The Tao Te Ching translates to the canon of reason. This is the collection of writing that can lead you to living a more reasonable life. This is about, so much of the Tao is just about being or understanding that we are all one, understanding that there is something beyond that we have access to. There is more out there than what we're feeling in our body. When we can be here and accept it as it is, no matter if it's, no matter if it can be defined as good or bad or right or wrong, those things don't matter. What matters most is that we're here and present with this moment. It's not about it being right or wrong, it's about it being. And here you are being with it. And when we can recognize that, when we can let go of the concepts that kind of govern our body, and we can just be here and observe that, like, this body is a gift, this life is a gift. Like, let's give it up. Let's offer this moment to something greater, right? Let's offer this moment to that which we are, that place where we are greater. And when we do that, we can be more open. And so if you can, if you got a moment, please pick a number between 1 and 81. Join me, and let's look into the Tao. Let's look at how we can live our lives without having to define what is happening, what's going on, and all what it's all about. Kimmy's going to be joining me. Kimmy, how are you this morning?
I am good. How are you doing today, Martin John?
I am doing wonderfully. I am doing wonderfully. I had a good night's sleep. I had a run this morning, took care of some stuff on my website. Now diving into Tao of the Day. So it's just been one thing after another, and it's all just presented itself. So that's very nice.
That's wonderful. Yay, I'm so glad. Good. Well, I'm ready for a Tuesday. Tuesdays are my Monday. I babysit my grandson on Mondays, so Tuesdays are my
No.
turn of the week. So it's a
Well,
good
that's
it's
it.
a
Well,
good thing.
well, well. Nothing wrong with ending a week on a babysitting your grandson day.
No, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to be here, but I'm glad you're having a good day too. I have
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
not gotten to join you here before, so I'm excited to just show you I'm excited for what you do.
Well, that is great, and I'm really excited to have you because, yeah, I was racking my brain. I was like, I don't think we've done a DAO before.
I don't think I knew until I listened to you what that even meant. So
Okay,
you are
well,
opening my world up to kind of seeing things from perspectives, which is always exciting.
yes, and I'm always that's something that I really, that's at the core of so much that I do. Just awareness and, like, more un. It's not about gathering knowledge, just like being open to what is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
there's always more to be open to.
there is. And I think no matter where it is you come from it, I think if we stop wanting to learn and to be able to be respectful of different approaches, I think we start to kind of close up. So it's good.
Yeah, I actually posted something today about arrested development, and I think
Yes.
that's, like, when once we close off and cement to old ideas, we're starting to arrest our development. So, in trying to fend off arrested development, you got a number between 1 and 81.
I do. 13.
13, lucky number 13.
It is a lucky number for me.
Beautiful. So here we are. It says success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is always shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise of thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, What do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. What are your thoughts?
So I have to digest it. My brain does things slowly. So I
Yeah.
think,
And
but I,
we'll go through it again, but like some
okay,
first initial
okay,
yeah.
just an oversight. So my first reaction to hope is hollow when
Yep, a lot of people do that. Yep, yep, yep.
yeah. And so, but I can understand the perspective, and I do agree that there's as much tentative fear in going up as there is going down, and I think accepting things as they are is the answer to that. So I agree with that.
Hmm.
I just kind of seeing things as they are, and I love the part about loving the world as you love self. I think that that probably of all the things that you said there really resonates with me.
Yeah. Yeah, see the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
like that.
Yeah. So we start, this whole piece starts, and we're going to start going through this now, just like piecing it apart and figuring out how it all kind of pieces together and how it resonates with, maybe things that are going on right now. So
Okay.
success is as dangerous as failure. What are your thoughts there?
So I agree. I think they both have very similar pitfalls of self doubt and imposter syndrome and ideas of um, I think that there are pitfalls in both, and I would say that success honestly probably looms more fearful for me because it means you've reached something that you don't want to lose.
Right. You want to hold on to that.
Right, which I don't think probably is the ideal perspective, right? And
Right.
so how to enjoy reality as it is really kind of frees you from that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I look at these as opposites, right? Like they're like success and failure, and they're like these extremes on some spectrum,
Hmm.
you know. And that spectrum, like, and if we look at the middle, it's just like the middle of success and failure is like this space of being, is this space of like just acting without having a definition of an outcome.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
just the acceptance of what is kind of freedom from both of those directions.
Yeah. And then we come into the thing that often rings alarm bells. Hope is as hollow as fear. So,
Right.
yeah, go on.
No, right. So I don't know that I'm sure that when you explain it, it's going to make sense to me. But I believe fear is the absence. For me, it's the absence of confidence. It's the absence of knowing it's all going to be okay. So hope for me is the presence of things that it's the belief in the presence of things. Well, I guess the worldview I use is it's the evidence of things hoped for is like kind of the idea that we have faith in that things will be okay. So
Hmm.
help me see it from this perspective.
Well, once again, we have to look at the idea that hope and fear are opposites,
Okay.
just like success and failure. So they are the extremes of a
Okay.
spectrum.
So how
And
could
so,
hope be hollow then?
because it is the other side of fear.
Which
So let's go to the verse now. We'll
okay.
jump down to the verse that actually kind of explains this. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear?
Okay.
Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self.
Of the self. Okay.
How does that resonate with you? What does that look like for you?
So the removal of self being selfless, I can see that as a goal, right? Like
Hmm.
not in a abusive kind of way, but in a healthy way.
Hmm.
So I can grasp that. So I can grasp the idea that if I remove the self-interest at a high height, it will free me from both of those aspects. I can see that.
Right. And so then we free ourselves of the definition that things have to work out.
I see expectation.
In and right, things have to work out in an expected way.
Okay.
because hope arises from thinking of the self. So it's thinking of, well, I'm hopeful that X will happen. Well, X will happen because I have an expectation that X is good,
Right. And do we
right?
have
And
are we supposed to release that?
well, when you don't see the self as
Mhm.
self,
Okay.
right? So, like, this is the next line. When you don't see the self as self, what do you have to fear, right? When you don't see the self as your, like, this, I think in all, kind of, even modern religions, like Christianity or I mean, I know they have a history, but the way that we understand them now, it is about, like, when you can give it up, when you can offer this hope or offer this fear to
Yeah.
God in offering,
Yeah.
right? Because like, that's what we do, right? We offer this up. It's not for us to um it's not for us to judge that moment. I mean, I've met people who are like, when a child dies, there's a lot of, this can't be happening. Why did God allow this?
Yeah.
And really, it's like, can you offer that up, knowing that our expectation for the child to survive, and this is an extreme case,
Sure.
is um is coming from thinking of the self without thinking of the bigger picture,
Yeah. That
without and so that's how I address this, is how I approach this.
I see that. I can see that often some of the things that break us the most are the desire for things that I often say it this way when people do it different ways. When I pray, but people meditate or do other things. One of
Hmm.
the things I always remember in the back of my head is I really, at the end of the day, just want what you would want if I knew what you knew, right? I just way too much I don't know. So even though I might want, in your example, for someone I love to survive, or some really other big asks that are, I think, are make sense. I always keep in my head, there's just so much I don't know. So I think
Right.
it's the releasing of the expectation you're talking about. I think that's a beautiful reminder of that.
And that's where this hope comes in, right? Hope is a great word these days. It's kind of a
Yeah.
it's we really, there's all of this, like, as we see individuals, like, crumbling to the ask of society, as
Yes.
as we start to see, like, what the the thing that people are using, the word that people are using in order to keep people on track in the old mindset, in the old idea that, like, there is a good, there is a bad. We have to make sure that these things stay good and bad. Then we start to lean on this hope, right? We actually have a society that is based on fear. So what we do is we bring in the opposite and start framing everything as hope. And that's actually dangerous, because what happens is, as long as you have hope, you can continue going down this path that might be detrimental.
Right. So I use because I work with in the arena of abuse. I think
Hmm.
for me, hope is usually attached to healing.
Right. Yes.
Right. The
Yeah.
hope of healing. And I think
Hmm.
that, so it's hard to imagine, it's hard for me to get to the point where I would say that that is something to release. How would you frame that? How would you frame the idea that if the hope you have is to heal and to be whole again, how does that fit into this?
Well, I can go into this. It may get touchy, but I will. And I know we only got 3 minutes, but
Mhm.
so it's not so easy. But the one thing I would say is that hope, as it relates to healing, when it relates to abuse, is really um, attached to, now your clients are coming at this needing to recover from having been in a relationship, but they were in a relationship that was abusive because they had concepts about themselves and society that were not congruent with a healthy relationship.
Okay.
Is that, I mean, would you agree with that?
Yes, yes and no. I think there is preparation that can be done, but I think culturally speaking, we do feed ideas that make it really easy for people with great intention to be abused. But
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
You know, and for someone who, puts the relationship ahead of themselves, for someone who puts their partner ahead of themselves, they could
yeah,
find themselves in an abusive relationship. Well, they have to walk through each step to get to a place to be able to, like, let go of hope. Are these individuals going to be able to let go of the concept that you hold for hope for them over a lifetime? Maybe not, because they have to do so much to
right.
get there. But what the idea of dropping hope, and I don't want people to drop hope when they're not, when that is something that is anchoring them, of
Hmm.
course. But when we, like, and the Tao talks about the master, right? When we are moving towards this, we want to know that, like, hope is hollow, just as was the fear that I held on to. I want to, just like if I go out drinking and I have an if I have an alcohol problem, I have to stop drinking alcohol completely. I have to go to the complete other avenue.
Hmm.
But then eventually, like, that that spectrum goes away because I realize that I have value.
Hmm.
And it's not about, like, I have hope that I'm going to heal. Well, I know I'm going to heal because I'm God, and God is within me. Like,
Oh,
it's not about hoping. It's about, like, knowing that this moment is good. And when we can make choices from moment to moment for the best of us, and don't live under the influence of our relationship or our partner, or some rules that are placed on us through society,
mhm.
we can let go of the idea that we have hope and know that we are here, present in this moment, making the best choices because we're healthy. Now, the people that you're dealing with are not necessarily in thinking with the clearest mind because of the abuse that they have suffered. Please come back up. I do have someone in line, but I want to finish this.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
Um,
oh, that's great.
so I would look at this from this aspect of, so I would look at, and Catherine's in line. I didn't know it was Catherine. She has wonderful thoughts on hope as well, and we can bring her up in a moment and chat. But as it relates to your clients, of course we have to understand what their capacity is. You don't want to go in and say, well, just hope that, like, just get rid of hope and you just have to be here and whatever. But the idea
Yeah.
that hope is ultimately hollow, um, because it is fighting off the expectation. It is saying, like, I have an expectation, and within hope there is an expectation. And when we can recognize that that expectation is looking forward, hope and fear both look forward and put something on it. Like, I have an expectation that someone's going to come home and I'm going to get beat, or I have an expectation that I'm going to go home and I'm going to be in peace. Either way, that is an expectation that I have for my future. And that's what this is saying, where it's like, when we can get rid of the self. Now, someone who is healthy and can get rid of the self isn't going to walk into a situation that they are getting beat, right? Because it's the self that keeps them there. It is the belief that this is where you're supposed to be, and
Mhm.
that those concepts and ideas that we pick up that put me in a situation for being under the influence of something else.
I hear you. I love this, and I love ducking into your Tao of the day because I think it I usually make notes because it's such a different. I just the word hope alone is such a different concept in this discussion. So I really believe one thing wisdom gives us is the ability to care about, meet, and connect with people who have very different definitions for these really huge terms, and I love this.
Yeah, yeah, and I want to say that, like, we can't let words necessarily get in the way of a good conversation. So
Right.
if you and I are talking and we use hope, and it's like, okay, let me understand how you know hope. And
Exactly.
yes, when you're working with hope in your clients, that's beautiful. You want to get your clients to move into hope. But can you in your life understand the emptiness of it?
And that's where if I look at it and say I would have so much fun sitting with you for an hour and just talking about the differences because we come at it so differently. And I respect and I hear and I understand, I think, the wisdom in what you're saying. So it's
Yeah.
not a matter of, oh, just disregard it. For me, hope is a wellspring. It is a actual place of contentment, and I don't know that it's rooted as much in self as this definition, but that doesn't mean that your definition is wrong and mine's right. It just means we see it differently, and I'm open, so I'm going to keep coming. I'm going
So
to keep
this one, once again, I want to wrap this up, and this one ends. And there was we skipped a verse, we skipped
sure.
a couple lines that just talked about success and failure because we fleshed that out very well.
Yeah.
The end here says, "See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are."
Hmm.
What are your thoughts there?
I like the piece of that, right? Just have faith in the way things are and don't cease striving. That's what I hear there.
Yeah.
What do you, is that what you get there too?
I do. And this idea that see the world, that means everything that happens in the world. That
Right.
means global change, global warming. That means war. That
Yeah.
means starving. That means uh, the Holocaust. That means all of these things.
Yeah.
See the world as yourself and have faith in the way things are. So much of our modern world is like, this is bad. We talked about this good and bad idea before already today.
Right.
you know when we can really just kind of be here and see this is you,
This is you.
this and have faith in the fact that that you're steering your life in a good direction because every moment you are present and you are like you're asking yourself those questions and you're being present and you're saying, how can I be better?
Hmm.
Well, if you're asking yourself that question, why would you expect the world is not doing the same?
Sure. Yeah. There's an arrogance in that presumption. I agree.
Yeah. And so when we can be present and like have faith in the way things are, then we can really go on to this next line, love the world as yourself.
Yeah.
And then you can care for all things. Can you care for, a suffering panda right now in China?
Right. You mean practically? Yeah.
Well, physically, no.
But practically,
But
yes. Yeah.
right,
Right.
because you
Right.
can, because you and it are connected.
Right. Right.
You and it. So when you can love the world as yourself, no matter the pain, no matter the expectation for good or bad or what you think, no matter if like think Putin is a great man or a bad man,
Hmm.
you can love that anyway. You can offer it love, and that cares for all things. And you can care for the people that you deem as good, and you can care for the people that you deem as bad.
Sure.
Because you're working with people who have been abused, but
Hmm.
the people who are abusing are probably hurting just as much.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the thing, like offering good people love is is, is great, but it's
It's
so
key.
much easier
Yeah.
than offering the people love that are in prison, that are
Yeah.
addicts, that have murdered people, that have it's hard. That's harder. But
You say it beautifully when you say when you give each person value, then you're precluded from not.
right,
Right? No, I agree with you, and each person deserves value. They are worthy. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, even no matter how we want to define it, they are worthy. But oh, that's fantastic. I thank you for tutoring me. There's a couple places I pop in on wisdom, Martin John, and I just go, I am just gonna just soak it up and learn and try to understand and try to be open to ideas that kind of blow my mind a little. And I have found it to be really enriching. So thank you for taking the time to work through my initial Tao of the day. So I'm sure I'll be back
Yeah, well,
again. And
I'm really glad to put you on the list. It was really wonderful to have you come up. So thank you so much.
it was great. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You as well, Kim. Oh, my buddy Catherine, she is back. I don't know if you heard, but she came back yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Man, time flies.
I know.
Welcome back.
And yet it
Welcome
seems like no
back.
time
Welcome
passed at all.
back. Welcome back.
All right,
What's that?
72. You know me. I come in, I'm ready.
Yeah, you do not waste time.
Although I can hit hopeful for you too, but let's just.
Yeah, I know. When I saw you in line, I was just like, I know you and I talk hope. Phantoms hope. All right. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. Intuition much.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, oh, I forgot. Yeah, it's been so long, Catherine.
I know.
Yes.
Get into it.
All right. So yeah. Well, first thoughts. Any initial thoughts?
There's a lot of
Ooh.
puns.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so let's just start with the beginning. When they lose their sense of awe, and they, who is they? Anybody. When somebody loses their sense of awe, they turn to religion.
Yeah, I mean that's the sense of awe is.
Like, yeah, let's talk about that. What is the sense of awe?
I'm gonna follow this totally intuitive information that's gonna come through to me.
Please do.
Sense of awe is that lightness of freedom, and the freedom that also, when you feel grounded yet at the same time open to anything that shows up, knowing that it's the way forward. It's that awe of the synchronicity moments. It's the awe of, wow, I could have put that together if I wanted to. That, how things come together, that intuitive path that way, and that sense of awe, just knowing things will turn out all right, but you're always excited and ready to move yourself forward.
Yeah. And I think that, like, when we talk about like awe, it's like that deep, deep,
Mhm.
deep sense of just like, I am here right now.
Yeah.
I am, I am, I am experiencing this moment without having to be, you know, excited. I went to, I used to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras when I was younger. And I mean, I only went a couple times, but I was never in awe of anything, but I was excited about everything. Everything was like this physical sort of excitement, but I never really felt a sense of awe. I mean, there have been times where I've felt awe, like in that grand sense. I remember after my last cocaine binge, actually the thing that started me doing portraits of people was a moment that, like, I was struck by awe. And it wasn't like I was seeing anything. It was just like just in the being, because I was actually driving and I pulled over to the side of the road because I was so awestruck by a moment. And that moment changed my life. But like that's the thing. Like that, like awe, like have you ever been awestruck?
Yeah, I mean, it for me, the best way to explain this, and I think people will connect to, is when those moments happen, you can't explain. When like you said, when you get bumped on a flight, you end up in a seat, you end up meeting somebody else, or even
Oh, right.
because,
Yeah.
when I happened to be in the ordering chips that night, ran into somebody that led to this, that led to that, and if I had planned it, it could never have happened.
Yeah. You know, I
Mm.
look at my life in this way where it's like I can look back and I can just line things up and go, wow, if all of these things didn't happen, I wouldn't be right here right now with you
Right.
talking, right? Like we can be in awe of how that all pieced together.
Hmm.
And if we lose that,
That is, there's a breath in that of like the freedom of, I could never have lined up those events in such a way that it would brought me here. They had to line up in a way that was magical. And that is that moment of awe of like, wow, things line up the way they're supposed to. All I have to do is watch for the signs, move forward, know that the next one will come, even if I feel like there isn't one.
mm,
Always expect to know it is always there and always available to me. I don't have to do anything different or special. I just have to know it's there and take the action when I see it.
yeah. So when they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. And that's it's interesting religion, how it kind of plays so heavily, especially here in the States, I think. When you can't be in awe of just the way things happen, you want to turn to religion. And religion can very well be the economic system as well. You
Yeah,
can turn to
it's
money.
a structure of
Right.
rule and some sort of structure that you can go,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Some,
A, B, C, D,
yeah.
do this, don't do that, and
Yeah.
it this formulated structure that in a sense boxes you in.
Right. And it could be anything, any sort of,
Any-
like, even, go on.
yeah, you're right. Anything.
Yeah.
A diet
Anything.
program, the government system,
AA,
yeah,
yeah, like all of these
yep,
things. Anytime we lose the sense of awe. So losing this sense that we are we are here being guided by this bigger thing.
yeah, and
Like,
everything out.
yeah. Once we lose that sense that we are being guided by something bigger, we turn to a structure of some sort, a structure of religion. And maybe religion like attempts to get us to a place of being in awe. But even here in the Tao, like Dr. Rao comes up and tells me all the time, you can't just read it. And it's like, no, of course not. Like, this has to be embodied in this like really deep way.
Right,
But like, we start somewhere, right? Like, we
right,
start here, and this is the way, like. And so people turn to religion, so that they can read it and be like, okay, it says here, meditate 3 times a day, bow to the east, and do
right.
this and do that. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do these things. And that becomes this husk of true faith, right? Like, that's another line from the Tao somewhere else where it says, like, ritual is the husk of true faith.
Right. And I even think about like yesterday when I held a room, people kept talking about the marketing and the structure and the gurus and the step by step and how when they felt confined and felt gross and yucky and it just didn't feel right.
Mhm.
And they broke free and just followed their intuition of what to do,
Yeah.
things began to happen. So I think the religion is like we both said, open up to what that means and just put structure and rules to it.
Yeah, one of my good friends, who's a really really big part of my spiritual sort of growth. Not personally, but I mean, he inspired me to have spiritual growth. He went through so many different iterations of healings, right? He learned shiatsu massage, and he learned different sorts of healing modalities, cranial sacral, zero balancing, all of this kind of stuff. He
Mhm.
learned all of these things, like constantly searching, searching, searching,
Yeah.
searching. And one time he came to me, he was like, oh, I'm trying this new thing, and I couldn't help but laugh. And I laughed, and he was just like, and he got, I think he got a little sort of like, oh, what, like, why you, what is that laugh, And I was just like, no, I totally respect everything that you do, but is there going to be an end?
Yeah, I have
You
a
know,
friend exactly the same. I'm like, wow. Like, when can you absorb it and
right?
be in awe of where all of those take you?
Yes, yes. It's like one religion isn't enough, so one religion or one structure isn't enough, and so you go to another structure, to another structure, to another structure, and constantly find yourself lacking, because what isn't lacking is you, but you are not allowing yourself to be in awe of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so when people lose their sense of awe, they turn to some structure, they turn to something other than themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really what religion means here, something other than yourself, because the sense of awe is that, like, understanding that you are God within, like this is here with you.
Yeah.
When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority.
Well,
Oh,
just said that.
yeah, we just talked about all that, right? When they no longer trust who they are and their intuition and their purpose and all that they have within them, they
Mhm.
begin to depend upon something else.
Interesting.
It's interesting. Go on. I don't.
No, I'm just saying, it's more and more people are starting to realize this, but with these conversations, I think it inspires people to really trust it more.
Yeah. And I think this. I'm going to be doing a podcast episode soon about the wound of, what is it called? The wound of independence.
Mm.
And it's such, like, there's this idea that it's like we are moving from an independent, like, from a time in which people want independence, but in order to have independence you have to be part of a group, whether that is an authority or whether that's AA or whether that's religion or whether that's being an American or patriotism in that sense of being part of a tribe.
Mhm.
Um and and that is, and you can be independent within that, and you can be independent in a very, but under very specific ways, right? You
Yes.
can't. And then we're talking about how that's actually shifting to make people are growing out of independence and into individuality. And as an individual, you can support all things. Whereas when you're kind of anchored in your independence, you have to, you tribe together into a, like, commonality.
And the
Whereas by as an individual, I can see you as an individual, no matter how you come to me, whether you have a mental illness or whether you have different ideas, and I can still love you and we can create the whole.
yeah, and the difference between independence and being sovereign.
Yes, huge difference, right? Like the wound of
Mhm.
independence is such a beautiful phrase, and it was brought to me by Mary Wagstaff, and I think she's here on Wisdom. I don't know that she's here much, but she and I are going to be doing an interview about the wound of independence, and I was just like, whoa! When she said that, I was just like, yes, that's such a beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah.
So, to continue with 72, therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused.
Mm.
I think this speaks to, I don't, the goal is to be a master. So I'll say, like, in my ability to, like, get close to being what the Tao considers a master, like stepping back and not being the focal point. Right? Like that's a big thing. I want you to be the focal point when I work with my clients, when I work here
Mm.
on Tao of the Day. It's like, what is going on with you? I don't want you to, I don't want to be the thing that you're paying attention to. I want you to pay attention to what's going on within you.
I get the word conductor.
Oh, I was about to go into a song there, but I can't remember all the words.
Of like these gurus and people, they want to again be the conductor of the direction someone's going
Yeah.
or happening as a master. And when get release those goals, release those expectations as the master and of what the master is giving you, and be able to pull the individual nuggets, the hear and feel and recognize the specific things within what is being offered that match up with you, that lighten up, not the ones that make you cringe. I was talking to someone yesterday and they were saying, this marketing person was giving me these directions and I felt gross. And they're like, that's good, it's you're uncomfortable. I'm like, there's a difference between I feel like this isn't me, and being uncomfortable of like, okay, trepidation of stepping forward versus, ugh, I feel like heebie jeebies, I'm gonna throw up. I got the
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and so that is like stepping away from the master. You may know all the marketing, but something within me is telling me you're going the wrong way.
Yep.
It's okay to listen to that. There's a difference between being uncomfortable because it's not the right direction for you and having a little bit of trepidation going, okay, this is something new I'm stepping into, but everything tells me I'm going the right way. And I
To come back up, and because you dropped, but we'll get you back. And yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. And our society right now, like, we can say, you feel uncomfortable, that's good, like, all you have to do is hire me and you won't feel uncomfortable anymore.
yeah, or feeling you have to get really, really uncomfortable. Um, yeah, I don't understand what this is about. It's
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and that to me is that master who's conducting. This is what worked for me, so
Hmm.
it works for everyone. And I say, as the person who did that, you tweaked whatever you learned to teach something new. Allow that space for every individual to figure out what works for them within what you have to offer. Everything you have to offer may not be perfect for everyone. So, stepping away from the master conductor is
Yeah.
stepping back onto your own magical path.
I think about that, and, like, when you're a conductor, when you're, if you're if you're a hardline, like, just using the word conductor puts me in this train.
Hmm.
The track was already laid,
Yep.
and it's like, all right, well, you can conduct this train, and I'm glad you can, but it's only going one way,
Right.
and it's got a destination. And
Yep.
the thing is it might take you a little longer to get to where you're going if you walk, but but, but like, that the path that you're on in this train was tread by many, many people before. All of the people who worked to lay that track,
Hmm.
all of the people who worked to run electricity on that track, and then people who, like, invested in making the train to get that track from point A to point B. And now, if you just get on the train, that's great. You can get to a destination, but maybe you didn't see anything along the way.
And you don't have to stay on the train
That's
the
right.
whole
You can get to the next station and then just kind of get off and then make your way around.
and go, hey, that launched me farther, and now I'm going to investigate what's here.
Yeah, I talk a lot about, like, booster rockets for getting out. Like, if you're on a planet, this is like for addiction and stuff. If you're on a planet, you believe that there's one way to get clean of addiction. It might be AA. That's great. AA is your booster rocket. You get out of the atmosphere
Hmm.
of the planet of alcoholism, let's say.
Hmm.
Um, but eventually, you have to, like, those booster rockets are just dead weight,
Right.
and
Right.
they may keep you just orbiting the planet of alcoholism. Like, what we need to do eventually, no matter what the structure is, whether it's AA or the economic system or the, like, marriage or whatever, is, like,
Mm.
really be able to drop away,
Yep.
let the things fall away that boosted us through the atmosphere, because those things aren't going to be of use anymore, because we are now traversing space. We're no longer in the gravitational pull of that which we thought was so important.
Yes.
He teaches without teaching, so that people have nothing to learn. And that's where it ends. He teaches without teaching.
Well, and to me, that is the synchronicity of events.
Right. You learn.
You
You
learn.
learn. You have learned everything that you know.
Yep.
And
Everything you need is within you. Watching
right.
for the signs just brings all of it out. All your accumulated knowledge, intuition says, okay, this is the knowledge you have. Here's what's going to help you get forward. and it might bring you to something that you can learn that's new. You follow those signs, you follow that, everything is within you.
Yeah. One of the things that like this idea of teaching and learning that I really like to embrace is this, as this states, like, he who teaches without teaching. If you have faith that the person that you're in front of and that the world, and I talked about this with Kimmy just briefly, the idea that, like, the world around you and everyone in it is learning,
Hmm.
and you don't have to teach anything. They are going to take their lesson and they are going to learn their lesson. And this is difficult sometimes when, you try and, when you can let go of really thinking that and you want to, oh, I'm just trying to help you. Well,
Yes.
trying to help, if you want to help me, trust that I'm doing the work. Get out of my way and trust that I'm doing the work I need to do, and that you don't have my answer, but you are presenting me with an opportunity to learn my answer.
Yeah. I mean, it is really being that in awe again in the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's that moment of awe of, just even watching someone at a store, how they behave and going, whoa, I've acted like that. That's embarrassing. Or, kids watching somebody else and saying, oh, that's kind of neat. Or, look at modeling ourselves, getting opportunities to see something different, having synchronicity moments of recognizing that if I just let go and follow the signs and relax, things do show up for what I need. And how do I recognize that? All of these things are moments to learn and to get to the next level. It's quite exciting, really. I'm in awe.
Yeah, I love, and I just because you brought up the first line, last line thing, he teaches without teaching so that people will have nothing to learn. When people lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. In religion, we get taught, right?
Yep.
We get taught the structure, like we were saying, like you get taught how to work within the economic system, you get taught how to work within the religious system, you get taught how to work within the education system. And the thing is when we can learn, when we can just when we don't have anything to learn, but we can observe, right? Because this last line is so that people will have nothing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What that's saying is, like, you won't learn, but there is nothing definitive to learn
Yeah.
because you are that which you are learning. And so there's no lesson for you. There's no what's it called? Like at the beginning of a course, they give you this thing and it tells you what you're going to learn in the course.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Syllabus.
can hear you. Thank you. You're like, hey, I'm speaking here. I must have just spoken over you. Because, yes, a syllabus. Like, there's no syllabus, there's nothing to learn,
Right.
but you will learn. And if we have faith that each and every one of us is learning from every moment that they're living, whether you're a part of it or not, then you can gain this sense of awe again.
Yeah. This is awesomely fun.
Yeah, wow, 72. I think this is the best 72 I've participated in. So thank you.
I'm back.
Oh, so good. Everybody, just real quick, stay on Catherine for another second. Like, everybody, follow Catherine. Like, seriously. Like, intuition talks regularly, and always such a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. Okay, can I hit hopeful up really quick?
Oh yeah, hit me up.
Okay, so I hopeful where the word hopeful really, really rides my nerves like a razor blade.
In
It,
tech. No, I'm
it
just kidding. I don't know.
it's
No, I don't.
The Bachelor. I watch these young people in their 20s and they say, I'm just so hopeful that one day I'll find
Oh,
love. And I'm like, you're 22. That you are so desperate for love that you can't see through anything. And so every single person uses the word hopeful. It feels like lost pain. I can't put anything else to it. So it's this emptiness of hopeful because I don't believe it will ever come.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, it's a hope, as we were talking with number 13, it's hollow. There's a
Yeah.
hollowness to it, and yes, like as Kimmy was saying, with people who are coming out of abusive relationships, to be hopeful, to be able to maybe pay their own rent, and to to get, like, yes, there are stages where that's good, but we always have to keep in mind, I think, that the idea is like, be here now. Not everybody can do that right now, but
Right.
like understanding that this is going to unfold and change is inevitable. And in one of the, I mean, I posted this today on Instagram. It was, it was a quote from Seth Godin. This this quote, I'm gonna try and pull it up really quick, just because it's a quote, and I should read it properly. Whether or not you commit to movement, the world never stays precisely where it was. And it's like, that's the thing. Like,
Hmm.
in order to continue moving, like, you have to make the decision.
Yeah.
Even, like, you have to commit to that movement, and if you commit to movement, things are going to change. Now, if you commit to hope, well, are you still are is movement a factor, or are you just hopeful? And I think you've expressed that when we have talked about 13 before. You and I
Hmm.
addressed 13 before, and when
Hmm.
we did, we really dove into this idea that hope is hollow, and hope doesn't necessarily always contribute to movement.
Yeah. It can be a reason not to move.
Right. Absolutely. and
Yes.
then and then we have an expectation, and then we get disappointed, or we have all these things, and we actually don't move, we don't take those steps. And now, hope could be a great motivator for some, just like yelling at a child might be a great motivator for one child, where it's going to crush another. I'm a Cancer, so I'm sensitive as all get out. Like, like if you yell at me to get me to change, like, I'm really just gonna want to cry. that's just that's just how I am. But that's like, but that's, and that's where, like, I think a lot of this kind of comes in, where it's just like, are you committed to movement? It's like, I am always committed to movement. I'm always committed to doing things, and hope be damned, like, I'm going to be here now.
Yeah. And it's, especially when you get into the conversations I have about intuition, it's when
Right.
you get into knowing that it is always available. The information you need is always available. I don't have to hope for it. I
Nope.
know, grounded 100%, intuition will give me the moment, the synchronicity, the thought, the idea, the word, the image, the sense of grounding to tell me the next place to go. I know that. If I hope for it, I don't quite know what to look for.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Super fun.
Oh man, you are brilliant. Love you.
Love
I'm
you.
gonna anybody that wants to step up and give me a number between 1 and 81. Let's go ahead and look at your Dow for the day.
I'm
I am.
skedaddling. Have a
Oh,
great
love you. Bye bye.
night.
I thought you were ducking out.
I am ducking out.
All right. Well, you go duck out. All right. Anybody that wants to come up and pick a number between 1 and 81, I would love to have you come up. Nobody is in the queue. What? Nobody is in the queue. This is Tao of the Day. We've talked to two people, and we could end there. We could. Nobody wants to step up and pick a number. We can end right there. Had two wonderful women come on. Um, and yeah, I want to just put out there that if you guys benefit from the work that I'm doing here, consider tipping me over at Venmo at @MartinJohn_Garcia. You can check out the links on my profile as well. I post new content regularly over on Instagram, as well as I just posted my play-by-play of my recent dark retreat in Guatemala on my podcast, and so you can follow me there as well. This is Tao of the Day. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text that made up of 81 verses, and so I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 81. Today we picked number 13 and 72 with Kimmy and Catherine respectively. If you have a number between 1 and 81 that you'd like to pick, definitely step up. Pick a number. We'll go through your verse of the Tao. The Zenith is coming up to me. The Zenith. Is this a TV from the 70s? I love it. The Zenith. How are you doing?
Very good, Martin. Yourself?
I am doing very well. I'm doing very well. We're just talking about the Tao. This is the first time we have done the Tao together. Are you familiar with the Tao or Tao of the Day?
I am familiar with the Tao Te Ching. I'm not intimately familiar with it, but I am aware of it, and I know just a small bit about it.
Okay. Well, so Tao of the Day is a place where you and I, you pick a number between 1 and 81, and because there are 81 chapters in the Tao, and then we read through it, get an initial sort of reaction, and then go through it line by line and see how we can dive deeper into that chapter of the Tao.
Sure. We'll have number 15.
15. Off we go to 15. And I'm going to be utilizing the Stephen Mitchell translation, if you're familiar. This is a little bit longer, so I'll let you know when I'm done. It's not super long, but this is longer for some of the chapters. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing over an iced over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, and clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment, not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. That's it. Thoughts?
Well, quite a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there is a lot.
For me, just when you were reading it, the first thing that came into my mind was, we're talking about the masters being inscrutable and unlearnable and having patience, and I guess ultimately, for me, it kind of talks to me about this idea of self-realization, is that we have to be patient and not hope and wait for someone to have the answers for us. We have to ultimately discover the answers within ourselves, rather than particularly relying on one of the so-called masters. They will show us the door, but they can't. We have to walk through it. I guess they're my kind of initial thoughts on that. But I guess
That's
there's quite a
beautiful.
lot.
That's beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot here, and we're going to go through it. And this whole middle part, although it, they were as careful as someone who crossed over an ice over stream, alert as a warrior, courteous. Like there's all of this stuff. So that can really but we're gonna, when we go through this again, we're just gonna kind of lump that all into one thing, and then because we really want to get on to the meat, and that is just descriptive, right? So we're gonna start looking at this, and I agree with you. I think it's so much of this is about understanding that that nobody can show it to us. I remember being in New Orleans one time. Wow, this is the second time I mentioned New Orleans, like in this thing. I remember being in New Orleans. I went on a swamp tour, and the tour guide was showing us all of this stuff as we were on the water, but I wasn't seeing any of it. Like I couldn't see the birds, I couldn't see the insects, I couldn't see the frogs, I couldn't and he said to me one time, it was like, look, I can tell you where it is, but I can't make you see it. And that was just such a profound moment in my life, because as a city kid, I would never, I can't see things in nature because I'm not used to it until I was there longer. By the time we were done with the tour, of course, I was seeing things, but I couldn't see it for the first half of the tour. That's the thing, it takes practice to see. And I think when we start here, like the ancient masters were profound
Yes.
and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There was no way to describe it. All we can do is describe their appearance. And that's, you can only point to what's obvious. You can't point to the depths of things.
Yeah, absolutely. We, you know, guess the appearance reveals a lot, but it's the study, I guess, of things, that which these great masters are probably experts at. But I guess it's for me anyway, it's the study. If we study something long enough, then it begins to reveal its secrets. Great painting. We hear about how people start painting to see their depths and see each kind of brushstroke, and it reveals, hidden depths and hidden qualities. And I guess for me anyway, we as you mentioned there, we're not going to get things answers straight away. Um, we
Now you are
can't
breaking up a
know
bit.
the depths that these
I don't
masters
know if
know, but
there's
by
a
amongst things that
you are
can
breaking up a
spark
bit.
off. Is that any better?
Yep, that sounds
Is
better.
this any better?
That's better.
Hello?
That's a lot better. Yeah,
Hello?
there. Yep, yep. I hear birds. I'm good. This is
Okay, you can
nice.
hear me
This
now?
is good. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep, I got you now.
Yeah, and profound learning takes time. It takes patience. The answers don't come to us straight away. It's we who are impatient, and I guess that this is what these great masters, have learnt. And I guess by studying potentially, maybe a bit of a parable, but studying their inscrutable appearance, can provide clues, can provide aspects of learning, their mannerisms, their appearance, the way they conduct themselves. I think that when we study things for a long time, it begins to give up its secrets, but we need to have the patience for these kind of learnings. Like anything in life, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes dedication. Your study of the Tao, it's not something that you just casually read and go, okay, well, if you learned that now, you come back at it again and again and
Yeah.
look for different meanings and different qualities and different aspects. And I'm sure, like most things, like I guess these Zen parables and koans and stuff like that, each time that we study them, or it may not make sense at first, but it's to provide a train of thought. It's to spark off, thoughts. It's to spark off. Well, what does that actually mean? So that
Right.
we can then begin to potentially internalize and look for deeper meanings and deeper facets of meaning.
And what does it mean to me right now?
Mm,
Not what did they mean, but what is the wisdom that I hold for this? This is what's great
yeah,
about, like, as this one starts, it's like their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe their wisdom. All we can do is describe their appearance. Now we go into that batch of what do they appear to be like? Well, they're careful, like someone crossing an iced over stream. Maybe with their words, or maybe with their
yeah,
actions, or whatever. Like you can contemplate that over time. Alert as a warrior in enemy territory. Okay, once again, something to contemplate, whether it's in their actions or in their mannerisms or in their words. Courteous as a guest. Fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. All of that is part of their appearance. That's just simply their appearance. Now, you can contemplate all of those things to try and get close to their wisdom. And is your wisdom taking you to a place that you might appear this way as well?
yeah. I think that the study of one of these masters, as you say, it's not to be them, to emulate them, but it's to provide you of a place of learning within inside yourself, so that you may become your own master, in a
Exactly.
way, your own guru, your own
Yeah.
realized being. It's not so much like most of these great masters, anyone will not get quite offended by this. It's not that Jesus was there to be worshipped. His message was to be like him. And most of these great gurus, it's the same with all these people who have all these Buddha statues in their house. You know, they think it's an idol. It's there to be worshipped, but it's not. It was a figure to be emulated.
Right.
It was to be learned from and to become your own realized being. So the study of these masters and their wisdom is ultimately there to provide you to become your own master, to become your own guru, if you like.
Absolutely. Which goes into our next line. Do you have the patience to wait till the mud settles and the water clears? Can you remain unmoving until the right action presents itself?
Yeah. I think that speaks to obviously patience, which we mentioned,
Yeah.
but also this quality of stillness. You know, to be able to remain in one place and not be impatient.
Hmm. Right.
We don't do an awful lot of that in our life. We don't take the time to be still. And when we slow down in life and
Right.
stop letting water then becomes clear, and we just need to slow down, um, and listen to your inner guidance, I guess. You know, and your own kind of fog of your own brain, your own muddy waters of your own brain or your own mind will then begin to dissipate and clarity can then return. But it takes patience and it takes stillness. It takes a slowing down. And I think this is what these great masters were famous for. You know, spending time in silence, spending time in stillness, spending time in things like contemplation, meditation, but at their own kind of leisurely pace. And our kind of modern day life does not cater for that. And really need to um, we really need to recognize this in life that it's only with the slowing down, with patience, that wisdom can come, that solutions can come. I think that's what that line speaks to me about.
Yeah. And whether it's meditation in the traditional sense, or if it's meditation by just being able to to be here and know and continue your
Yeah,
life, but not overreaching, not trying to act before the right action arises, and make sure that you can see clearly. I was talking earlier about the word hope,
yeah,
and sometimes when we're like, "Oh, I'm hopeful," well, it might sound like the right answer, but actually it might be taking us down the wrong path, because hope is so connected to fear.
yeah. You're right. I think that that it's a very charged word, and I guess that people. At least I was listening actually to your talk earlier, and I was thinking about that word, and I guess that for me it's linked to attachments.
Hmm.
When we have hope, we are attached to a certain outcome. And when that outcome does not transpire, then we can fear, we can have anger, we can have resentment. So I guess hope should be used in the right context. It's a very kind of charged word, I think, and people, as you were talking about, um, it's kind of misused. As I said, it's kind of linked to this idea of concepts of attachments.
Yeah.
And I guess what we really need to do is drop our attachments to everything, so that we have no, we don't need to hope kind of them. We just be, as I think you were talking about earlier. We become comfortable with ourselves. We become comfortable with our life. With hope, we're looking to a future or a past maybe that has happened, and we're looking into a future. And when we're doing that, then we miss out on the present. We're missing out exactly what's happening right now. So I
Mm.
think that with your grace, in the circumstances that she was describing, obviously hope, yes,
Of
in the right
course.
conditions
Yes, we need
is
because
yeah,
that's a step in like it's all about just taking the next step. That is the next action arises by itself is hope. Of course, that's the next
yeah,
action. And if you stay there for 50 years, great. But if during that time you can clear your water, and you can remain unmoving, then maybe hope will fall away as well.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, it's for me, it's harmful when it is, as you mentioned, or as I mentioned, it's having attachments,
Yeah.
attachments to certain outcomes, and I think that's the dangerous part of it. If
Yeah.
you become comfortable, with your circumstances, if you become comfortable with your life, then as you turn around saying, as we were talking about, and if you slow down and wait for the right action instead of jumping the gun, perhaps instead
Mm-hmm.
of making a rash move, slow down, let the muddy waters clear, let your mind clear, then your path becomes clear.
Okay, Zena, come back up, finish that up, and then we're gonna bring Lois in, just so we can wrap up this 15 beautiful conversation around this 15. If you guys are just joining us, this is Tao of the Day.
Yeah, I'm back. I
Okay.
can't remember what I was saying there.
No,
I
that's
think it's just I think I was just saying that if we slow down, if we become comfortable with our situation, and we can only do that by slowing down, by being still, by taking in the stillness,
yeah,
then the right action appears because the mind clears.
yeah.
Intuition, clarity can return, and then we do not need to rely on hope
Right.
um, regarding certain actions.
And this verse wraps up really really brilliantly as you were talking about that. The master doesn't seek fulfillment, not seeking,
Mm.
not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things.
Yeah, and there you go. That's by being
Yeah,
present, by being present in the moment, by living in the
yeah,
now, by not waiting on attachment to an outcome, instead of simply fully being present in the moment. Then you begin to realize, well, how am I present in this moment? What are my feelings right now? How am I feeling right now? Is my mind racing ahead? Am I potentially going to be making a right decision? I'm not waiting on the right action. So being present, fully immersed in the now.
yeah. What a beautiful, beautiful covering of 15, and like dropping expectation. We talked about hope. We talked about this whole,
Yeah,
like, everything is, and as we were talking with Catherine, we just stay in a sense of awe. So beautiful. Zena, thank you so much for joining me. It's
yeah.
wonderful to connect.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving your talks. Keep it up. Keep up the
We'll
good
do.
work.
We'll do. Thank you, man. Bye bye. We're
Bye.
gonna bring in Lois. Love Lois. Lois, I heard you on Andy Scarantino's talk last night, and like, you're on fire, always on fire.
Hey Martin, how you doing?
I'm doing. Look at you chilling out. What's up?
Hey, chilling out, man. I just finished cleaning the kitchen and doing all kinds of stuff. Get ready for my sister to come visit in 2 days.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I told her, I said, look, I'm Lois, okay? The kitchen will be clean, your room will be clean, your bathroom will be clean. How about that? Don't worry
That's
about my room.
that's right. You
So
don't look in
okay, don't look if you don't want to see it. All right, now
there.
I'm going to do all these shoes. But anyway, yeah, but thank you. I only go on the talks that God said, okay, go in there and say this. Go in
Andy's my
there and say that.
people, man. So I was like, hearing you guys talk last night, I was just in heaven. Like, such a good talk.
Well, I appreciate that. I had fun. It's talks like that that's why I call this my playground
Yeah.
because this is just fun to me.
Yeah.
Um, let me think. I think I want what did I say? 12.
12. All right. 12. Let's see here. Number 12. And I moved to Logan because you and I talk Logan. So sight obscures, noise deafens, desire messes with your heart. The world messes with your mind. A master watches the world but keeps focus on what's real.
Oh, that's so easy. I was
That's
like, I need some more.
that's
Give me some
how
more.
was that? How was that the Dow? Come on.
Man, that was like, come on now. Okay, basically, I'll take it word by word.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first sentence again.
Sight obscures.
Okay, when you look at certain things a certain way, you may not see what you're seeing. I mean,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? It's like I can put 15 people in this room. I can play out a scenario with some actors, and every point of that 15 people gonna see something different.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so I can't say, well, I was a witness to it. I saw that. So the eyewitness shit don't work because everybody's gonna interpret based on their background and their history and
That's right.
they vision. So it's obscure. It's like that don't count.
That's right. Like just because you see something doesn't mean that that's what you're seeing. Like the thing, like you're not seeing the thing, you're seeing how you're seeing it. Do you know? I'm going to give you some art history background. And I
Uh,
don't know the artist, and I wish I did offhand, but the birth of abstract painting was
mm-hmm.
because a painter had his painting upside down across the room, and he looked at it and he couldn't make sense of it, and it was so beautiful to him. And it
Oh,
was like, wow, like that is just color, and it is just on a canvas, and there is no form here, and it is just and and then he realized it was a painting that was upside down, and he could no longer see the abstract painting, and so he attempted to recreate this experience of seeing things in the abstract. And that was the birth. That was one of the earliest stories of how abstraction became a thing at all.
well, the thing is that because if I mean, like I said, if you really look at we are going to see something different. I mean,
That's right.
I mean, right in front of our eyes, I can see somebody walking across the street, and I can see a car come and almost hit them. Now, I can say that was that person's fault. The person walking across the street, I can say that was the car fault, depending on where I'm coming from. If I
Yeah.
was the person had walked across the street, the car almost hit me, I'd say that's that car fault. But if I was just normal and I saw the person crossing, then I would say it's the driver's fault. So you see it, however, you interpret what you see in a skewed way.
Yeah,
That's the
it's your perception because
yeah.
like your eyes pull in all of this information. It actually just gets translated by your brain, which is in a dark cavern in your head.
Yes,
Like
and it goes
once you have
plays and it plays memories based on for you to interpret. It plays a memory. Say this goes with this. Now look at it this way. This goes with this, and
yeah.
that's those connections. So everybody's not going to see the same thing.
So
I've done
all of a sudden,
so.
that which you see is being obscured by what you think.
Yes. Oh,
Sight obscures, noise deafens. What do you think
okay.
there?
Same,
Same thing,
same,
probably.
same thing. Same
Yeah,
thing.
same thing. Noise deafens. The more you hear, the less you get to hear. The more noise comes in, the less you get to hear.
Yes.
In the Stephen Mitchell version, he says, let me read this really quick. Colors blind the eye, sound deafens the ear, flavor numbs the taste, thoughts weaken the mind, desire withers the heart. So all of these things that we can often be like, oh, look how beautiful. Like, trust me, sight obscures. When I was in the dark, I experienced more because the sight wasn't there for me. I was
Right.
able to feel my body more. I was able to be more in touch, in tune with the energy. I mean, I couldn't connect, right? Because I was in the dark here, but I wasn't, I had a definite like lack of connection, but I was able to experience that very deeply. And whether or not my eyes are making me think I have a connection while my connection is still as weak as that, that's something I get to look at. So
Yeah.
desire messes with your heart. Every time you desire something, it messes with your heart.
Because you change your vibration. If you desire something and you go into that I need or I want, then you're gonna be you'll get in that crazy mindset where you're gonna keep looking for it and noticing it ain't there. And that's gonna put you in that vibration of lack.
That's right. That's right. Desire messes with the heart. Like, and it also messes with, like, once you have a desire, you start to change who you are so you can attract that thing, so you can have
Yeah.
that thing. And I
Mm.
know I'm guilty of this at times where, someone's called me clingy. I'm like, I don't think I'm clingy. But like, there are times and there have been times where I have, just inadvertently changed what I would do or what I would say because I had desire. And it's like, it's really good to notice that. It's really good to put it into practice that I don't want to do that. And I just have to always step up and say, okay, am I doing this from the right place? And if in hindsight I say no, there's more for me to learn.
There it is.
You know?
That's exactly right. That's so good.
And the
Okay.
world messes with your mind. This has happened to me. I know
Oh my
that.
Jesus. Okay. Gwen, everything that be that's why I don't watch TV. I
You
mean,
and me both.
I listen to YouTube stuff and I do whatever. Ain't got no commercials. I'll pay for something to have no commercials, but there's nothing, no show that I can say, oh, I like to watch this. Oh, I like. No, it's nothing like that because all of it messes with us, and I believe it messes with all of us because it's a program. They're programming us for a bunch of stuff, telling us if we don't have this, we need that. We
Hmm.
gotta have this. If we have if our toe hurt, you gotta go get some toe jam medicine. No, I'm sorry, but no, it messes with you and it makes you think, oh my God, is that me?
That's right.
Do I feel that? And if
That's
you
right.
constantly focus on your body, all we got to do is say, feel my foot, close your eyes, and you can tune in to the foot making tingly things.
Yeah.
So yes, the world f's with you.
The
Okay.
world fucks with you every time, every time. And like, ask me why I was an addict. I was an addict because I didn't believe in myself. I was an
Yeah.
addict because I didn't love myself. And why didn't I love myself? Because the world around me, my family, my school, my TV, all of that stuff told me I wasn't good enough. And I believed it, and that's on me.
Right. And
That's on me. I
I
get
believe
that.
I believe the same BS. I believe that I wasn't enough. I believe that no matter what I did, had to do twice as much
That's
and
you.
to
Yep.
work twice as hard because I was a woman, and then three times because I was black. Okay, so
Yep.
I had a whole lot of stuff, umbrellas I had to live up under, and I'm thinking, okay, but there's a glass ceiling. How do I break this bitch?
That's right.
And
You
so
realize that you're
go
in the
get
wrong room.
education. Go get more education. And it's like, okay, I get more education, but the glass still ain't breaking. Look, they paying this person fresh out of school, but they paying me, and I've been here for 20 years.
Mm,
So it's kind of like, yeah, the world will f with you if you allow it to. Now, I don't. I ain't gonna say that because that sounds nasty, but I really don't care what nobody else think. I really
that's
don't.
right.
Okay, I mean, oh no, I'm gonna say this. I love that song. That and what's her name? I have a chance to don't hear for a minute. I hope she's Sammy. Sammy loves that song too, and it's a rap song that says, "I don't give a fuck about you," but
Oh,
it's not in a bad way.
no, no, no. I
Okay,
get you.
it has to do with you're talking about this, you're saying that. I don't, and then you say, I got many other things I'd rather fucking do than be fucking with you. I
That's.
don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm
I
not
hear that.
about this crap. This is BS. I ain't going there with you. And that's
Yeah.
basically how I hear the song. But I like the curse words. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. You and
when
me
it
both.
comes, yeah, because and it's not that I don't care about people. I
No, of
don't
course
care
not.
what
But
people have to say about my journey and my
right.
life and how God has healed me and whether they believe He did or whether they believe He didn't. I'm living proof,
I
and I
always say, like, I don't care in the most loving way.
there it is. Wait, wait. I say I care less.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I care less. And Sharon, when I first said that to Sharon, she was like, "Mom," I said, "No. If I care more, I'd be worried. I care
That's
less.
right. I
Okay,
care less. Yeah.
I'm not going there with you, and because I know you have beside you what you need. So you know what? Do you?" And I
Yeah.
said, "Do you?"
And that's where and that is where this verse ends. A master watches the world but keeps focused on what's real. What's real? You're real, so you go do you.
Yes, that's right. My
What?
vibration is real, and I know when it wanes and when it goes up and when it goes down. People say,
Yeah.
"How do you know? How do you know when what do you do when your vibration go down?" I said, "Immediate. I know immediately when it goes down because I feel an ache or a pain in my body somewhere."
Yep.
Okay, that's the number one because you have emotional and physical memory. Your
Yeah.
body remembers how it responded in a previous circumstance, and it will do it again when it feels you're in that circumstance. That's ego defenses. People
Yep.
that ego defenses do that. Yeah, ego is more than just how you think and how you talk to people. The ego to build defenses to do a whole lot of other shit too, because you can physical symptoms, mental symptoms, whatever. But the
Mhm.
thing is that if you're just like you got muscle memory, if you worked out when you were a kid and you
Yeah.
did gymnastics and all that stuff, as soon as I started exercising, shoot, my body say, "Hey, I like this. We going back to where you was when you exercised like this, when you was popping all them flips."
Yeah.
you know,
You know,
and
and
and so that emotional memory is very important. That people got to remember that their bodies and their brains is going to react the way it always did if you don't change that program.
right. Right.
So, but I love you, Martin, and I
Love
love
you.
when you do this style. And I tell you, man, you're my brother from another mother.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. You sent me a thank you this morning. I hope something.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
you know.
that was very nice of you to send that. I didn't even notice it because after I talked, the phone went off and I was with my daughter and then I was with my dog and I just picked the phone up because even when I got up this morning, I immediately got up and started doing my cleaning and mopping the floors and stuff. And so I hadn't picked up the phone.
Yeah. But no, it was great to hear you. Like like all my people were hanging out with my buddy Andy, and like she hasn't been on Wisdom in a minute, so I was just like, yeah, all my people. Like I was
Yeah,
listening to like
good
almost the
topic.
whole thing.
A really good topic. It's like, I
Yeah.
come in here sometimes. I mean, because God is not, I'm not allowed to join
Andy's
every.
our people. Like if you don't know Andy, she's our people. Like she's
Well,
gonna she's gonna she's gonna step it up.
okay, I'm gonna put it like this. God pulled me into that conversation for a reason
Fuck
because I
yeah.
don't get pulled in. It's a lot of people who've been on here a long, long, long time, and it's no offense to them. If God don't call me to your room, He don't call me to your room.
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll sit and I'll listen and I'll be in the audience if you see in the audience. But if God don't say go up there and I don't feel like I can add value, I'm not going up there. And if God
That's
don't tell
right.
me to do a talk, I ain't doing a talk because He ain't told me. He said nope. Do I do a talk?
That's right.
Nope. So I go under all inspiration, but
Yeah.
and you are another person I see who takes inspired action too. So I
Yeah.
applaud you. I give you kudos. I'm gonna be serious.
Oh man, getting those
Kudos to you.
kudos.
Love that. I love that.
Thanks to Sisley.
All right.
Absolutely. All
Okay.
right,
Right.
Julie is up and
Wait.
she is on her bike trip. So we're gonna swap out. We're gonna get Julie up here real quick, see where she's at, how things are going. Julie.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
that's going all right. I'm sat in the middle of a playing field, and in front of me, I can see the skate park and a load of kids over there, sort of with their bikes and skateboards hanging out. And
Oh man,
yeah,
where
it's
are
all
you?
good.
Where are you?
We are in a place called I.
I
Isn't that
EYE.
amazing? EYE.
I
I.
spell correctly. Wow, that's
Yeah.
rare for Garcia, but
Garcia is amazing. That's what he is. And I
so
love him.
I so you're so you so and you're in the middle of a football pitch.
Yeah, there's four
Nice.
goalposts around. There's kids on bikes, one towing
Oh
another one with a
man.
bit of string, having a lot of fun. It's just a lovely place to be.
And now are you
It's a
done
bit
riding for
cloudy.
today?
Sorry?
Are you done riding for today?
No, we're going to keep going and get to Bury St Edmunds, which has the stained glass window with four dragons in it.
What? Beautiful. So I'm going to
That
see that on Instagram, I assume.
you are, and
I'm
also,
looking
yeah,
forward
you'll
to it.
see it in other places as well, like WhatsApp.
Oh
But the
yeah.
dragons, because we're following the dragon line as well. It's another part of the journey.
Oh,
But
beautiful. Did,
all pretty cool.
did I send you the link to the cosmology of Saturn?
Yes.
Okay, now that is ridiculously long and other stuff like that. But in that book, which is all digital and free and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it's ridiculously smart, and then not smart, but it's like it is this guy's life's work. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's dead now, so it's done. But it's good because it's already like seven like it's ridiculously long. But in that book, he describes um how dragons came about as imagery in our psyche and in our world.
Yeah, I
And
shall have to
so
read.
so but you'd have to find that, and by searching for dragon, you'd find areas where he spoke about it, if you'd be interested in that. But it's
Yeah,
like, again, my buddy, he's brilliant. Okay, so we're going to do a Dow. I would like, I heard Brad, is he near you?
he's next to me. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would like him to pick a number.
Okay, Brad.
I think 64, please.
64. Now this is a way we can practice, like you handing off the mic.
Yeah.
Wow, 64. I think you picked the longest Dow.
Get done.
That's okay. That's good. That's good. All right. And since it's Brad, we're going to Stephen Mitchell. What is
Okay.
rooted is easy to nourish. What is recent is easy to correct. What is brittle is easy to break. What is small is easy to scatter. Prevent trouble before it arises. Put things in order before they exist. The giant pine tree grows from a tiny sprout. The journey of 1,000 miles starts from beneath your feet. Rushing into action, you fail. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. Therefore, the master takes actions by letting things take their course. He remains as calm at the beginning as he does at the end. He has nothing, thus has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing but the Tao, thus he can care for all things.
Mm,
Thoughts?
that's amazing.
That's spot on, isn't it, really?
It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
It's just astounding because we've taken this Dow, we've taken you, Martin, John. We will be talking to other people eventually. So people I'm sitting with will do the Dow with us. But that is Brad. That is Brad. It's that I don't desire. So therefore,
Things
you're
can't,
with the now, aren't you?
things can't be rushed.
No.
You can't rush things. If you do, you it's not gonna work, is it?
No.
Yeah, rushing into action, you fail.
Yeah, that's
Trying
right.
to grasp things, you lose them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We're just allowing things to happen, aren't
Everything has a start.
we? Yeah.
Yeah. This one begins with these four sort of, what is rooted is easy to nourish. What is recent is easy to correct. What is brittle is easy to break. What is small is easy to scatter. When you're rooted, if you if you don't get your roots in the ground, no matter how much water falls, you're not going to be able to soak up that until you get rooted.
Yeah.
Once you get rooted, you can be nourished by
Yeah.
anything that falls into the ground, and you have access to it.
Mm. That's like being to me. That sounds like being rooted in your spirituality. I'd say if you're rooted in your
And the
spirituality, it will
heart. Yeah.
grow in your heart.
Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both the emotional body and the spiritual body as well,
Mm.
and the physical
Yeah.
body. It's like a
Three-pronged root.
yeah.
Yeah. It's and that's the thing. Once you're rooted, like, and Brad, you're talking about, like, you believe these things that, like, nothing can be rushed. I don't have desire. You're rooted in you, in who you are, as like this individual separate being, but you're rooted in that which is at your core. And that way, anything that comes in, any quote unquote water that would fall upon you, you can soak up and learn
Mm.
from, and you can grow. So what is rooted is easy to nourish, and then what is recent is easy to correct. Yes, you're rooted,
Yeah.
but then when something comes in and you put it to the test, well, like if you take a wrong turn somewhere and you've done
Yeah.
it recently, it's easy to correct that.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah,
take a wrong turn and continue to tell yourself, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, even
yeah,
though you
yeah.
know you're wrong,
It
the
becomes,
longer you stick on that path, the harder it is to correct.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We've done that.
But we noticed we corrected it early.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it became
Easier.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
we've
the
made more
If
progress
if
by
we, if
that.
we'd kept going in the direction we did, we probably would have ended up somewhere in the
Scarborough.
thing.
But yeah, it's that is a good Dow today.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fitting. And it's kind of like a reminder for us both, really, that we stick to our core roots, what we believe at the start of it, and that will carry us through.
As a matter of interest, how many DAOs are there?
81.
So that's 9 times 9.
Yep.
9's a great
That's
number.
right, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
9 times 9.
9 9s. Yeah,
Yeah.
there might be something in that.
9
You're
squared.
quite fond of numbers, aren't you,
So
Martin?
that's 9.
I love math. I'm not great at it, and I don't do numerology or anything, but I have a deep appreciation for math and numbers.
Yeah, Brad
What
does too.
what would be interesting with that is to create like a 9 by 9 grid and then halve it and halve it again. So you've got 4 quadrants, and to see which ones fall on the line.
Yeah.
And see if there's any correlation or.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? We might have to do that.
No, I'm just doing that because I'm interested in things.
We got to find a bit of
I could
paper.
picture it. That's all.
Yeah, you are visually mathematic, aren't you? You're visually, yeah, which is kind of nice.
Because 9 times 9, that's a very that's like 9 is it's a number of completion, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is beyond the 8. 9
Yeah.
is ultra complete. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why this is called the Tao Te Ching, I translate, and some other people translate it too, as the canon of reason. It is the complete collection of living a reasonable life.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Brad talks to you because he gets more out of you than I do.
Of course, 9
so as this one, I know you're probably lost in numbers, but I'm going to continue going through 64.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
So prevent trouble before it arises. Put things in order before they exist.
Yeah.
That's like intuition. That's like being present and trusting that that things are going to be there when you look.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, that exactly that, and it's paid us beautifully.
Yeah.
And the people we've met
gone
have
with our
been
intuition,
amazing.
haven't we?
Yeah. Intuition and trust.
And we've
two massive things.
And synchronicity. We've had loads of that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all there, it's all there.
But you can only go with it if you've got that. If you're rooted.
And
right.
If you are aware.
Yeah.
And you notice, and that's one of the things you've definitely taught me, Martin John, to be aware, be present, and notice stuff.
Because if you try, I think if you try to go with something into it, through your intuition, and you're not rooted, you'll just get washed away with it.
Yeah, you'll be easily led.
Easily led, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys, or I don't know if you guys know Allison Sutter. I know, Julie, you know Allison.
Yes.
So I just did an interview for her private podcast, and it was all about, when I was an addict, I was able to touch intuition really closely because I was able to give everything up. Everything just like, I wasn't holding on to anything because I just needed my whatever I needed for that day. But it was a different unhealthy attachment to, like intuition was giving me what I wanted, but it wasn't giving me anything that was going to be sustainable. And that's this idea of being washed away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I love this one because it also has the journey of 1,000 miles starts beneath your feet. And you guys are just starting this
And it
journey.
probably, and to be fair, it probably will be 1,000 miles by the time we finish.
It will be
With all
because
the
we've
wrong
followed
turns, you
a
mean?
map. There's no straight line. There's no straight road from Hopton down to Cairn the Bowls.
We have to
We have to zigzag, so it's going to be 1,000 miles.
Yeah, it will be.
Well, just
We'll keep
yeah, just
updated
take your time. Take your time. Just it starts
and
beneath your
enjoy.
feet.
Yes,
This whole
enjoy.
journey is going to take you on a swerving path. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's been great so far, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, what is it? Day 2, 3?
Yeah.
What is it? Day
You know.
3.
We slept in the ruins of St Margaret's Church in Hopton on Sea.
It is
Just as the
it's flint built. It's built with flint quartz. That is.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
That
So
must be vibrating
it
beautifully.
was, and on the morning of Beltane, it was really weird, wasn't it? The feeling, and even the wildlife around us like went into like.
We had the doves in the bell tower
into superdrive,
and everything suddenly rushed up with the sun.
And it went really warm, didn't it? And it was like you could really feel the energy.
And the thing is along that Beltane line at Glastonbury, Avebury,
Yeah.
Barrow, all of them, everyone gathered there would have been looking at the point where we were in a tent. At that.
Looking up the country.
Yeah.
Towards that abbey.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And like you're able to have that, but not possess it, right? And that's where this line, trying to grasp things, you lose them. Like you don't grasp that. You just, it presents itself and then it fades away.
That's right.
That's beautiful.
That's right. We left it as we found it.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah.
Didn't take anything away.
Yep. And that's the thing,
point.
like, because that would be grasping, right? Like there's no need to grasp. You just need to be here now with this as it is. And this is where this final sort of longer section comes. And if you guys pop out and you have the time, come back up. We won't take another 15 minutes, but, therefore the master takes action by letting things take their course. You take action. You take action by letting other things take their course.
Yes. Yeah, we've witnessed that.
Yeah. Like that.
We had a guy made us a sandwich and that packed us all off and he said, "I'm beginning my journey." And that was the best thing he could have said to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
were starting ours.
Yeah.
Okay, come back up. We do have one person in line, but we want to hear this first, and then we will get you. Oh, sorry, Kelly. Kelly, I'll be with you literally in like 5 minutes. I'm sorry. We just want to finish up with Julie and Brad.
Thank you. We love Kelly. We love her. She's beautiful, beautiful soul. Anyway, so we set this guy off. He said he was beginning his journey. So we're allowing things to happen.
Yeah. And that allowing is so much part of that receiving that I talk about as well. Something that I'm working on really, really heavily is to receive. As I
because I told you I had a problem with receiving as well.
Yeah.
But I can't have that problem. I can't have it. I have to receive gracefully.
Yeah.
Because that is what's going to get me where the end of the journey is. Might not even be the end, but.
Right. And this is the point. The point is to receive this moment. This moment, receive it. And then as it goes away, just like when you were in the ruins, like let it go.
That's
receive it. And it's not yours. It's not your possession. You receive this and then you can be here as you are. He remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. He has nothing, thus he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Moment to moment.
Yeah.
You are here calm, knowing that whatever this is, even if your bikes get nicked,
Yeah, I thought about that. I'll just walk.
This is where you're at. Calm.
Yeah,
You have nothing, and so you have nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. You guys are rebuilding what it is to understand your place in the world through this.
yeah, absolutely. And to understand ourselves, to understand
And
where
yeah,
we are, understand ourselves and receive it all and let it all go.
right. Let it all go. Undesire.
Yeah,
And then he simply reminds people of who they have always been. This is what you're doing while you're doing this journey. And all of your ex-colleagues at the hospital, Julie, like, as you reminded them of who they were afraid to look at it.
yeah,
Now they're thinking about it.
yeah,
They're contemplating you and who they are. You've reminded them.
yeah,
And now you continue to remind others.
yeah. What a lovely thing to do.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
cares about nothing but the Tao. Thus he
yeah,
can care for all things. From the grass that you're sitting on to the road and the people that you pass, the kids in the park, you're
yeah,
able to just look and care. Not have to interject yourself, not have to lean on your ego and say, I will help you, but you can care. You can't,
yeah.
they don't even have to know it.
That's it. That's it. And no interjection. I think that's the most powerful part of what you just said. I'm
Yeah.
not here to change anybody. I'm here just to say hello. That's all. Hello. Care. That's it.
That's it.
How lovely.
And we've done that
I
now.
love you guys.
We
Thank you
love
so
you.
much for taking your time to just pause with me and go through the doubt. Brad, thank you for picking. It was such a beautiful number.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And
And
you
don't
guys
forget,
stay.
we'll be playing you soon, Hull.
Oh yes, I know. I'm not even gonna pay to watch it. I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be 4-0.
It's
We'll tell you the result.
Forest tonight against Bournemouth.
Yeah, Forest tonight
Oh.
against Bournemouth. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. You guys will be a little tired on the weekend. We don't have a game midweek this week, so like.
So you might
But
trounce
you guys are well. Like, what's the really briefly? Do you guys think you can get? Do you think you can get automatic promotion?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I've got that belief. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you can.
because they're really
I'm
hard.
not.
They
I don't
really
know
are.
your team. You need a win today and a win and you need a little help, I think. But you
Yeah,
already have a
Yeah,
game in hand, so I think you're good.
I think we're good. Martin, we
Yeah,
love you. Thank you
love you.
very much, Kelly, for holding on for us. You're amazing. And we love you very, very much because you're a gentle, gorgeous soul. So thanks. Thanks, Martin John. Speak to you
Absolutely.
soon.
We'll swap
thank
you
you.
out. Thank you guys. Cheers. Oh, when I get to talking football, I wonder if anybody caught that. Julie was like, Martin, you can't be talking about football while Kelly's on the line. And she was like, we're gonna end this now because Kelly's waiting. And she was more cognizant than I was. And
That's
Kelly,
the
I love you.
maternal.
Thank you. I was not trying to forget you.
You weren't trying to, it just happened. Just
It just,
kidding.
well, that'll happen when
I'm just kidding. It's easy to when you're talking to Julie and Brad.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Especially because they're on that journey. Wow, what a great
I
journey they're
know,
on.
it's inspiring. They're
It
lovely.
is.
I met Julie on here when she first came on and we talked about like hoarding and keeping things. And she had just really started that app. And it's super cool to hear that she's where she is already. Like she did this so fast. They did this so fast. Like,
I just want to let you know that you sound smiley today.
oh man, I slept. I haven't even got out of
Did
bed
you?
yet. I'm still in bed.
Oh,
I should be
this
out
is
of bed,
good.
but I'm
No,
not.
no, 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 no. Don't shit on yourself in bed. Have you ever seen that Kmart had a commercial where you can where it's only online, and they
Everybody
say
just said, "What's Kmart?"
no, no, no. They said
No, I
because
know.
it was about shipping their products. So
Mhm.
so it starts with a guy in a store talking to, I think it's Kmart. It might be another place, but it's like, wait, I can ship my pants.
Oh, yeah, I think I
I can
did
ship
see
my
that.
pants. Ken, you can ship your pants. I can ship my pants right here. I ship my bed. It's so funny. Like it's like this is back in the day of early web series and stuff, but such like one of the best ad campaigns I think ever. I mean, I don't know that I ever went to Kmart to have anything shipped because of it, but still, I mean, good
It might not have
advertising.
even been Kmart, so it wasn't
Yeah,
with
it doesn't
but
even matter.
but
It doesn't
but
even
whoever
matter.
wrote the comedy in it, yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
I shipped my drawers. Okay. So Kelly,
Yes.
I'm so glad you slept. I'm so like you sound really bright. So I'm really glad
Oh,
that you're here. I'm really glad that we're
thanks.
sharing this. Do you have a number?
Um, let me I didn't have 32.
Okay. That's the one I was looking at when you said 30.
Weird. Weird.
Weird. The Tao can't be perceived. Smaller than an electron, it contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written in their hearts. When you have names and forms, know that they're provisional. When you have institutions, know where their functions should end. Know when to stop. Knowing when to stop, you can avoid any danger. All things end in the Tao as rivers flow to the sea.
My background noise is gonna leave soon, but
Don't worry about
I I think I missed the first part of it,
it.
but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
middle part was really interesting. It's very impactful to what, of course, occurred as I woke up this
Mhm.
morning.
Yeah.
Will you reread the first part a little bit?
Yeah. The Tao can't be perceived, smaller than an electron. It contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written in their hearts.
I love the galaxy part because,
Yeah.
of course, that's the most like. Can you imagine? Like that was written before people did all the breakdown of everything, so they could define it with science and whatever. Like, but it's so true. It's like that's just right there, amazing, right there. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's great when we can observe the world and realize that the infinitely large and the infinitely small are
The same size.
the same.
Hmm.
Are the same. The same.
The
The same
same.
size, the
Yep.
same makeup, the same everything. Because it's just our perception. We are, beings that are somewhere around 6 foot. So we experience the entire world as people who are about 6 foot. And when we write books from the perspective of people who are about 6 foot. And when we do all of these things, and that's why when people are 3 foot, they feel left out. But
Mm.
they're the same. But we have built a structure, and the Tao is not structure. The Tao can't be perceived because it is the structure that we put on top of it to perceive space. The Tao is actually smaller than an electron and yet contains countless galaxies.
Smaller than an electron. Um,
But that's a perception.
there's this YouTube channel. I'll plug it, even though it's called Microcosms, and they just record like the microcosms, and you actually have to magnify it like 600 times, and then speed it up or slow it down like 400 times to make it
Wow.
move in the same time frame as we are in right now, so we can perceive it as on our time frame.
Yeah.
It's amazing. you know, like amazing to me. Because it can be perceived like our now, you know, like in our, I don't know, it's amazing. um
So
and
then
then
it can go on.
yeah, the powerful he and she, you know, it's I think that's the same thing, right? Just like perceiving it and just like allowing it. It reminds me of the Never Ending Story and the childlike empress, and just being everybody sees her as a ruler because she's the ruler of none. Like she doesn't rule them, so they all go to her for their wisdom.
Yeah. This continues. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would. And what is a powerful man or woman? Like, you're a mom, you're powerful. You know, like your daughter, powerful. Jasmine, as well as Holland and Monet.
I think love is what a powerful man and woman is, like when they
Yeah.
love.
Mm-hmm. And if everybody could remain centered in the Tao, like, and especially people who have control over others, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be